Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Los Banos Talk. My name is Justin Collins. On tonight's episode, I'm going to tell you in my opinion, some pretty exciting news that's happening really soon in the city, that we're right on the cusp. The downtown is in the process of being revitalized, and you're going to start seeing some new things coming into place really soon. I'm going to show you what some of those things are, what you can expect, and some of the approximate timelines and estimations of when you can start really seeing this come to fruition. I'll give you all the details in just a moment, right after a brief message from our sponsor.
Hey there, small business owner. COVID-19 restrictions might be going away, but it's still extremely important for your business to have an online presence, which is why you need Curly Admin. Online traffic and sales have been increasing for years, long before COVID-19. Many customers like to research a business online first, and some customers will still prefer to stay home for a variety of reasons. And chances are, even when they are out, they're on their phone, which is why your small business needs a great-looking website on both mobile and desktop. And that's why you need Curly Admin. Curly Admin is a local Los Banos business that builds custom websites and even manages it for you. And Curly Admin is local right here in Los Banos, which means that getting support is easy and fast. For pricing and details, go to www.curlyadmin.com. Again, that's curlyadmin.com.
And we're back. Thanks for watching. So first, I'd like to tell you what's happening, and then after that, I'll get into what made it possible, the politics behind it, where it's funded, etc., etc. So you might have noticed there's a few large pots being placed downtown. Right now, there's about 4 of them. They're rather large pots, and I have some footage here, as you can see. Now, there's many more pots to come, and they're going to basically line. There's going to be 30 pots that are going to come at the end of this month, my understanding by June 30th. These pots are essentially going to line the streets, as far as I could tell, 6th Street and I Street. Now, in those pots, what they've talked about is doing perhaps flowering plants at the base and then a multi-branch notch crepe myrtle. Now, a lot of you may not know this, but I'm actually quite the green thumb and really love plants myself. And I love crepe myrtles, and I've actually planted a few in my yard. And so I know what they're talking about. I'm going to show you an example of this in case you're unaware of what that is. Now, this is a crepe myrtle picture that I took from online that I saw for sale, and I'm sharing my screen right now. There's a different kinds of crepe myrtle. Some people are unaware. We actually already have a lot of these in the city. For those of you who don't know, our zone for planting is 9A. And so crepe myrtles are actually rated to grow well in our zone. They like it hot, and they're drought tolerant as well, and they're a flowering tree. We have numerous in our city. They come in different colors and different types of foliage colors as well. Crepe myrtles are interesting because the original crepe myrtle is a white tree, and all the other color crepe myrtles you see are actually hybrids between a bush. And so, for example, this is basically that. So this is a Muskogee crepe myrtle, or Muskogee lavender, as it's called. I also have this in containers, as well as black diamond crepe myrtles, and some other growing in pots as well. It's actually a bush that's crossed partially with a tree. And so it does grow up tall, but and to be shaped like a tree, but it's like a bush. This essentially is what they're talking about putting into the containers. The only difference is that I believe the ones that would be going into containers would actually have white flowers instead of purple or pink, because the notch crepe myrtle variety seems to generally be white. And the white flowering variety is in many ways ideal because it's the closest to the tree, and so it's the biggest one. But this type, when they mean multi-branch or multi-trunk crepe myrtle, this is what they're referring to, and this is means it's basically part bush. Now, the other thing that they're going to be doing, which is pretty cool, is they're going to line the streets of 6th Street and I Street, if I'm not mistaken, with another kind of tree called a Chinese pistache. And I'm going to show you one of those in a minute as well. And what's great about Chinese pistaches is that they're drought resistant. They're perfect for our climate. They get a pretty large canopy, but it's not too big. They're great for providing shade. Interestingly enough, if they're somewhat near each other, they can produce kind of like a berry fruit, which is referred to as pistache berries, but basically that's only if there's male and female trees close enough to one another. It is a nice looking tree, and the other thing that's great about it is it's recommended for being near sidewalks and buildings because the roots grow straight down, and they're non-invasive, and they don't create a problem for infrastructure, buildings, piping, etc. So the idea here is that this would provide significant amount of shade for the downtown sidewalk area. I'm going to show you a Chinese pistache now. So here's a Chinese pistache, and I'm taking this from the Texas A&M Forest Service. Chinese pistaches during the summer and during the spring, that's when they're most showy is during the spring, but they kind of look like this, and then they have the green foliage. Whereas in the fall, and then eventually they lose their leaves in the winter, but in the fall they achieve this nice reddish orangey color that a lot of people really like in the fall. But that's not all. The pots and the trees that you're going to be seeing lining the sidewalks, etc., and providing the shade and the maintenance for them and the upkeep of them is part of what's being paid for by the PBID. And if you're not sure what a PBID is, it's a private business industrial district. So it's an acronym. And essentially what a PBID is it's a district. So it's an area, small area of downtown, which primarily now we can think of as like 6th and I Street. And what it is within that area, it is formed by those people. So it has to be voted in by a majority of the property owners within that district. Once the PBID is created, it's a temporary district and has to be renewed every few years. The PBID basically allows for the collection of a property tax on the owners of those buildings, and in exchange for that, that money is collected and used in a way to basically for things like beautification, for things like revitalization, business, commerce improvements, etc. PBIDs and the money for it is kind of interesting, and there's extremely strict rules on how it works. And to sum it up in a fairly neat way, this is more or less what you would need to know about it. Only the individuals in that district are actually the ones paying it. And it's actually not really the business owners, it's the property owners, unless they are one and the same. Historical buildings such as wool growers are actually exempt from this kind of thing. So the taxes on the property owners, which it requires the majority of them to agree on it in the first place. The city also has to agree to do it, in which case they did. The money has to be managed by a 501c3 nonprofit, which in this case is the Downtown Association. The money is actually collected by the county, then goes to the city, and then goes to the Downtown Association. It's actually not as much as what a lot of people think, but it definitely helps and funds things like revitalization of downtown. And there's a lot of specificalities on the way it can and can't be spent. And this is one of the reasons why the Downtown Association holds public meetings And you can actually watch those meetings on YouTube, or you could attend the meetings once those meetings are in person again, or attend them via Zoom. The Downtown Association is a relatively new organization downtown. That's purpose and mission is to increase commerce downtown, to revitalize downtown, to help downtown merchants, etc. Many of the nice downtown areas that you can think of in your time, whether it be something like Santana Row or downtown Turlock, these were created and were made nice by PBIDs and by creating of either downtown associations or running it through something like a chamber of commerce. But basically, nothing in life is free, and it requires money to fix up things, maintain things, revitalize things, etc. Now, our city has a plan that's adopted, the Downtown Revitalization Plan, and in that plan, there's a lot of cool things, and some of them are coming into fruition basically now. I mean, really soon. And these ideas and plans are really come in coordination between the city, Economic and Community Development Department, and also with the Downtown Association. Some of the things that are going to be coming really soon is a large archway over 6th Street as you come in off 152. There's going to be a large archway. The funding would be available. It's already been approved and put into the budget for this coming fiscal year, and the funds would be available starting July 1st. And this would allow them to quickly move forward on it, and things have already been kind of put in place and are more or less ready to go as soon as it's available. This archway would be aesthetically pleasing, but also would probably bring some people off of the highway into the downtown area. And that's at least a large part of the hope. It would be lighted so at nighttime you could see it as well. And it's going to be designed so that it looks very pleasing. In combination with the trees and the plans that are going to be coming, there's also talks of doing little parkettes, and that's also part of the plan. And so these would be little mini park areas throughout the downtown and some of the areas that don't look quite as nice, as well as doing gazebo overhangs, places and areas for outdoor dining and sitting, the widening of sidewalks, making the sidewalks finally ADA compliant, increase the amount of parking available, fixing parking lots, undergrounding of utilities, installing high-speed internet, such as fiber, water, sewage, etc. And essentially what this does is that it makes downtown not just more inviting, but also a lot more habitable. The idea is that as time goes on, there might be second-story living quarters. More people could live downtown and enjoy the area, and that would also increase commerce. And that's more or less part of the plan. Makes it more pedestrian friendly, having things like outdoor beer gardens, things like outdoor sitting and eating, parkettes, gazebo, pergola, shade trees, and more. And a lot of these things are coming into fruition and going to start rolling out really soon. And you're going to start seeing it. It's going to be like, wow, all this stuff's kind of happening. This has been in the long time planning, but things don't really happen overnight. Because this is done with tax dollars, there's a lot of rules attached, a lot of transparency requirements, a lot of meetings that have to be held regarding it, etc. And so these decisions take a while to make, and the Downtown Association, as well as the city, wants to make sure that they do their investment properly, that it's going to have longevity, and that they're making a good decision and investment. Personally, I think it's a great move, and I think it'll increase local commerce and that our city will actually make the money back. I also think it's a really good time to spend in general, simply because inflation is really high and what savings we do have is quickly evaporating anyway. But even with these things that I just mentioned, the city is still projected to actually have a tax surplus. This would also create more areas for food vendors to park and make having fairs a lot easier and support more people. Better utilities, faster internet, allowing business owners to charge and take credit easier, have Wi-Fi hotspots downtown, And additionally to this would allow for more office space, office type building, and other type of business activity as well, on top of the commerce itself, and also residential, which would provide more apartment spaces for people. So, in other words, folks, in a fairly short amount of time, the downtown is going to look a lot different. And in a year and 2 years, etc., there's going to be a lot of changes that'll be made for the investment into the downtown area, into the future, and into local commerce. This should be very exciting to potential entrepreneurs, small business owners, those in the downtown, and also those who enjoy shopping experience and walking downtown. Now, to couple some of these cosmetic changes, there's also more businesses that are starting to come into the city. An example of one is the old theater, which is soon going to be a 209 Jams sports bar and grill. And as this revitalization effort goes underway, the utilities are better, the facades are better, the infrastructure is better, and the area just looks more appealing in general. We're going to start to see more businesses coming here as well, which also means more jobs, more tax revenue, and more fun. So me personally, I'm all for it. I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to it. If you'd like to be involved in this process, or think it's a good mission, or would like to say something, or think that you can help out, great. This is truly a community effort that I personally am involved in as well. And I'm really proud of the work being done, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these things come to fruition, not just for myself, but for my kids and business owners and everyone. And if you'd like to help, you can also join the Downtown Association. Their website is losbanosdowntown.org, and you can read it below. There you can become a member through the website if you so choose to do it that way. Another choice is you could give them a call at 209-710-9022. Again, that's 209-710-9022. And of course, you could stop by and pay a visit. They're located at 907 6th Street in downtown Los Banos. And right now, the Downtown Association is looking for more volunteers to help sell fireworks at their fireworks stand. I myself am going to volunteer and pull a shift. And if you'd like to come and help out with that, once again, give a call to 209-710-9022 or come into the office. Or you can direct message me through Los Banos Talk, and I'll get you connected to who you need. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe to Los Banos Talk. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, losbanostalk.com. Once again, my name is Justin Collins, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.